way. I'm a perfectionist. Adderall got me restless. I'm gone. Run with a wild crew, they get reckless. Young boy, come up off that neck into the trench. See you leave, be the best.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Who Will Be King. I'm here with a couple of my NFC North comrades. And as it stands right now, we have a Super Bowl matchup. But before we get to how we arrived at that matchup, how are you guys doing today?
Freezing. Bring back training camp weather.
Dave, how's it going?
It's going well. And it is January, so it's supposed to be cold.
It is.
I feel like it's been January for like 3 years by now.
But it's been a rough month. It's almost Groundhog's Day, so we'll see how that goes. But speaking of cold weather, let's get to the first matchup of Sunday afternoon, and that was the Patriots versus Denver, and that was in New England, right?
No, in Denver.
I was in Denver. It just felt like New England had the advantage because of the QB situation, but it ended up being a pretty close game that was heavily weather influenced, especially in the second half where they had quite the blizzard, but it was a low-scoring game. The final was 10-7, and I want to say Denver got off to a lead early on, and Stidham. Let me get that right. No, Stedman is Stidham. Jared. I'm going to call him Jared. He got off to a good start, and the Broncos had a decent opportunity to get a victory. There was some speculation that Peyton may have overcoached a little bit, and they went up 7-0 and had the opportunity to go up 10-0, but they chose to go for it instead of taking the points, which has been more of a approach of NFL coaches these days. And by the time we got to the second half, there was not much moving the ball offensively on either side. I think the Broncos had more passing yards than the Patriots. They only had 65, but ultimately they were able to get the final field goal to win the game 10-7. But what did you guys see in the game?
In the second half, that's for sure. When they tried
I wonder if
over to the Bike Snow.
I know this is probably more than quarterbacking, but if you knew that was coming, you got to take every chance, every point you can get at that point. You trying to, 4 touchdowns when you have a 3-point in front of you. You got to take that 3-point because as you saw in the second half, like you said, B. Foster, couldn't even hit a field goal in that weather. The question is going to be all summer, all offseason. The question is going to be, did you know? Were you aware of the weather?
Well, they obviously weren't prepared for it because they had, for field clearing, all they used was leaf blowers. And you'd see them come out and do back and forth, and you get squiggly lines that weren't straight. They didn't follow the line marks. They didn't clear the hashes. At least they could have taken something out of, say, New England's cheating scandal where they have a little tractor with the broom that comes up and, clear the spot for the kicker. But no, they didn't do that. And it was bad. But it couldn't happen to my, favorite coach, that he loses because he didn't take points. I'm happy.
But me personally, I hate games where the snow gets involved because it just turns into I don't know. It takes it back to old school backyard football where everybody's just sliding around and doing the best they can, but it doesn't necessarily yield the best team doesn't always win in those situations because it takes away a lot of the, I don't want to say take away the talent aspect, but it definitely makes for a different experience. A lot of people discount the fact that it kind of makes it easier to pass the ball in a sense, maybe even more so than the rain elements because, the receivers have the advantage of knowing, when they're going to stop and corners not wanting, not wanting to get beat deep, and they can't. It's more difficult for them to change direction. But in this particular situation, neither team was really able to move the ball passing wise, and as we talked about, field goals were a lot more difficult to convert. Yeah, Sean Payton. Unfortunately, he didn't have his starting quarterback, because it makes you wonder, what that, does that factor into how the game ended? But they certainly still had an opportunity to get the job done. I think it saves us from having to, deal with, seeing Mr. Stidham in the Super Bowl, because that would have just been kind of weird. But any other thoughts before we move on to the NFC game? It's been kind of weird, but
I just hate that this is going to get those nerds talking about football games should be in a dome. Listen, I hated watching that game too. It was hard to watch. It was boring. I think my Aura ring caught me napping for about a good 35 minutes. However, I would prefer more games like that than no games like that.
Oh, why?
I don't want to see all football played in a dome. That's not football. Like you said, Foster, you said it makes you think about back when we was kids and you was playing outside and you was doing more sliding than actually playing football. Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. Football's supposed to be fun like that. You gotta play the elements. The elements are part of football. Football is not supposed to be played indoors. You know what they call football that's played indoors? Arena. That's what they call it. They call it arena football.
Well, the NFL is going to it for most of its clubs, including yours, when you build your next stadium.
Not if Pritzker had anything to say about it.
I mean, I don't want to see all the games indoors, but we know that we don't have to put Miami in a dome. We know we don't have to put the Jaguars in a dome. There's a number of stadiums that I'm okay with them being outside. But as far as, all the snow and the rain, one would venture to say that it would make for a safer game also. I mean, I know that's kind of weak and whatever, but, more inclement weather could possibly make for more injuries as well. The money's and all, money gets involved. Got to bring it up.
I don't know if that science is more than just 50, but it's football. It ain't too much safer. You can make this game. It's a car crash every play. That's really what it is, and we're all going to watch it.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's one thing we're not going to do is stop watching it. It's not going to happen. But let's get to it more. We talked about it last week. This was going to feel like South Beach in comparison to the New England game. And that was the Rams versus Seahawks, and that took place in Seattle. This was a pretty high-scoring game. The final score was 31-27, and I predicted that the Rams would win. I thought that there would be still some concerns with Sam Darnold and his health, and that Kenneth Walker would not be able to duplicate the performance that he had in the previous week. And Kenneth Walker did not have as good of a game, but Sam Darnold looked great. It was a classic quarterback, duel between, two of the top in the NFC, and I don't think they disappointed in any way. The Seahawks were able to, although they didn't do a great, they didn't do the best job of stopping Matthew Stafford. They were able to get him off the field on third down and were able to get at the one stop that mattered in the end. Sam Darnold was able to get over that hump and beat the Rams. They obviously put him out last year, and I'm sure he feels very vindicated after being essentially ran out of Minnesota, that he's now in the Super Bowl. So what are you guys' thoughts about this game?
It was much more entertaining to watch than the first game was. The first game was a snoozer because of lack of points. This game was who's going to throw the last touchdown is probably going to win it sort of game, which I thought was fantastic. Sam Darnold put any questions out of people's minds about whether he can hold up under pressure. The Rams have always been tough for Sam. It's one of the reasons why the Vikings let him go. My fans are crying about that. But It is what it is. Sam had a great game, and he was still hurt. You saw him one shot. They talked about his oblique, and it was like he's sitting there doing that sort of motion coming off the sideline, but he was dead on. 346 yards, 3 TDs. He was great.
You know, I'm in this dynasty league in fantasy football, and we can have 2 keepers. I've been going back and forth between, do I keep JSN or do I keep Ashton Johnson? It's no debate no more. JSN is not making his way back to the draft. He's on my team until the year 3026. Now, it's never gonna happen. That man is a beast. That was a heavyweight fight between him and Puka. Him and Puka going back and forth, making spectacular catch after spectacular catch, and just continually getting open to the point where they was asking JSN, like, hey, why are you always open? Like, it's what I do, bro. I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence. Shout out to my boy Ricky Bobby. That game, it made up so much for the previous game that it was basically 2 games in one. Like you said, also whoever has the ball last is probably going to win that game. Unfortunately, LA were not able to come up in that clutch like that. But I felt like Seattle was the strongest team going into the playoffs. They had all the momentum. I think they're on a 10-game win streak now at this point, and I don't think New England, spoiler alert, I don't think New England's the team that's going to stop them. And they've just in the 3 games that they played LA, I felt like the first game wasn't a true representation of Seattle Seahawks. I think that was just an outlier. The second game and the last game, of course, was really Seattle, and they're going to be hell to pay. They might be BTA in that division for a while.
Looks like they found a quarterback. Back-to-back years of 14 wins. Only one other quarterback's done that.
Yeah. Is he underpaid, Dave?
Is he underpaid? Yes, he is. Hey, the Seattle Seahawks got him for a steal. It was basically a 1-year deal. It's a 3-year signing contract, but basically a 1-year deal for whatever it was they paid him this year, and then up to it's a 3-year, $100 million deal. They're happier than all get out. They don't have to worry about it for the next 2 years, or at least the next one. Then they have to worry about an extension. But they found he's developed into a quote franchise quarterback, the one that Minnesota Vikings been looking for since Fran Tarkington.
What you said, Dave, that's that first time ever a quarterback's had back-to-back 14 wins. That was the second most interesting stat that I heard coming out of that game. The first of that 2017 draft class, or was it? Yeah, 2018 draft class. He's the only quarterback that's been to Super Bowl twice, not just one, twice. He went with the
Rams.
Was it the Rams? Right.
Okay.
Back up with the Rams. So
True.
Josh Allen, none. Lamar Jackson, none. Baker, none. He's been twice.
He's the first one as a starting quarterback to get there, too.
That's crazy. Like we all planned.
Yeah. Go to get drafted by the Jets, turn into garbage, call the bust, and then work your way over.
Speaking of the Jets, how do you think they feel today? Talking about the Super Bowl, they got to see, dang, Sam Darnold's the starting quarterback. Dang, the Patriots, they killed us, rebuild, and now they're back in the Super Bowl. The Jets got to be going through it right now.
I'm sure they are. Much like Vikings fans.
And out of the QB class, I'm not sure what year it was. The year that Sam Darnold was drafted, Baker Mayfield, Darnold, Josh Allen, Josh Rosen, who many of you probably forgot about, who was drafted by the Cardinals, and Lamar Jackson. Sam Darnold is the first one to make the Super Bowl. Most would have probably thought Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, maybe even Baker Mayfield, but Sam Darnold is the first to make it. Well, you said he made it. You said he made it. He was the backup with the Rams. Is that what you said? But that doesn't count, does it?
I mean, he knows it's not. This isn't new to him. So the experience counts. He didn't play.
He was there though.
The whole lead up, the prep, all that. He understands what he understands. So as a quarterback, it all counts for him, rather. Maybe not counting on his football reference, but it counts.
And execution and on special teams is always important. There was a big muff punt by Xavier Smith that definitely could have, swung the momentum a little bit. So it is all important. There's not one individual or one side of the ball that is less impactful. It can all make a difference. Let's get to the first break, and then let's talk coaching hires on the other side. All right. The entire NFC North is obviously well into the off-season portion of things, and now it's time to shore up the coaching staff. Dave, what do you guys have going as far as coaching hires? Has your defensive coordinator made it back in?
Yes, he is. Once the Steelers selected Mike McCarthy, that was it. He's not entertaining any other head coaching interviews. He's probably turned down some, whether it be the Browns or the Bills or the Cardinals. But nope, Brian Flores is the newest, highest paid defensive coordinator in NFL history. They have not come out with the totals yet, but they have confirmed he is the highest paid coordinator in NFL history.
In history? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. All right. That's a decent consolation prize.
Oh, yeah.
Pay any movement in your coaching staff?
Actually, Declan Doyle, the Bears offensive coordinator, he took his name out of consideration for the offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't really have a lot of opinion on that. I mean, it's good for him. He got the experience of interviewing for, I guess, another offensive coordinator position. That's good for his resume, and him coming back to the fold, he can further, sharpen his sword. He can further get better in his craft, and maybe sometime down the road call plays. I don't think it was a good fit for him to go to Philadelphia anyway, because they've had a revolving door of offensive coordinators, right? In fact, well, actually, maybe not. Let me not say that too loud, because if the trend sets, Declan Doyle would have been a head coach in 2027. 2027, if the trend was, if you believe trends. The first Super Bowl that Sirianni won, I forget what year that was, but Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore were offensive coordinators under Sirianni. As you know, Patullo and I forget the other guy name that replaced those two. They were fired after one season. So offensive coordinator goes to head coach, gets replaced, fired. New guy, Kellen Moore, comes in, becomes a head coach. Kevin Patullo takes him over. He's fired after 1 year. Declan Doyle could have been a head coach, but maybe not the right time for him. And like I said, Philadelphia is probably looking for somebody with a little bit more experience in play calling, so they don't have to keep doing this revolving door thing. So experience matters for Declan Doyle. I'm happy that he got the interview experience. But come on back, get some more of that play calling and offensive coordinator experience. And next year, might be getting some head coaching nods. You never know.
Absolutely. And last week, we talked about the Detroit Lions hiring Drew Petzing as the offensive coordinator. They have since then gone out and hired Mike Kafka as the passing. I think he's his role. I think he's the passing game coach, or he's got a high role to help the offense. And Drew Petzing, he's a former quarterback. He's been coaching for 10 years. And most recently, he was the Giants offensive coordinator and also assistant head coach. And if you're a Lions fan, you probably remember the moment that the Lions probably had their eye on him. And it was when we played against them and he drew up that play that resulted in Jameis Winston getting the ball back on a throwback. Yeah, the Giants gave us some problems. We nearly lost that game, actually. We were able to, get the victory, but I think that one of the standout things for him is that he's been able to maximize and be adaptable, because by that point he didn't have Jackson Dart. He didn't have Scatterbo. There was a lot of, and then he was out of the receiver. What's the receiver's name early in the year? I can't remember his name. I think he went to
Malik Neighbors.
Neighbors. Yeah. So yeah, he was able to, he managed to have some success with less, and he'll have a lot more weapons. And I think that it's my understanding that he's going to be, where Petzing is going to be more in charge of the running game aspect. He's going to assist with making sure the passing game is under control. Pay, you kind of talked about it, how Marvin Harrison kind of struggled under his system. So that should shore up any questions of whether or not we can, make things happen through the air with our receivers. But yeah, that's the lone coaching hire that we've had in the past week. Now, as we look at the rest of the NFL.
Whoa. There's more coaches involved in the NFC North than just that.
Oh, yeah. I just skimmed right past the Packers. Go ahead.
Well, besides the Packers, let's
What
go
do they
with
do?
Chicago Bears.
Oh.
You guys let Eric Bieniemy go.
Yeah. So about that last week,
who's going to replace him?
we haven't replaced the running backs coach as of yet. Will it be a big name just like Eric Bieniemy was? Probably not. But when we figure that part out, that will. I don't know how much fanfare that'll get because when do you ever talk about running backs coaches? Eric Bieniemy was a high end name, so that's what got all that attention. As far as the entire staff, I am happy we are still retaining Antoine Randall. I'm happy we're still retaining Declan Doyle. I'm happy the Bears are still retaining. Well, we did lose Al Harris, but that he was supposed to get the job at Green Bay. Which is why we're talking about Green Bay. He may, now that you talked about Mike McCarthy earlier, he may end up back over there because he played for Mike McCarthy. He coached under Mike McCarthy in Dallas. I mean, it fits, right? And if he can get that defensive coordinator gig, it all works out for him because he's due, and he's definitely I guess talented enough to be a defensive coordinator because he's everywhere he's been, the secondary has been off the chain. Dallas, Chicago. So yeah, Al Harris, props to him. Great job. I wish all the success to you. I'm glad you're not going to Green Bay because I didn't like you when you was a player. I don't want to have to dislike you as a coach too. Right. So perfect. If he ends up in Pittsburgh, I know that secondary is going to be hell to pay.
And for you, Foster, you have a coaching position open. It's June's favorite position.
What?
Tight end. Tyler Roll left. He was hired as the offensive coordinator for Iowa State. Speaking of tight end,
Iowa.
He's going down there. And so that position has yet to be filled. For the Vikings, for positions still open, we have our offensive line coach search is still in the works. And I'm getting frustrated that it is because it looks like we'll probably settle. This will irritate me to no end. We lost Durante Jones, our DB coach. He became the defensive coordinator for the Commanders. Our defensive line coach, Marcus Dixon, he's going to take on that same role with Dallas, it sounds like. We lost our safeties coach, Michael Hutchings. He's becoming a coordinator at University of California. And, of course, we lost Mike Pettin, our assistant head coach, which makes me wonder if Brian Flores got that title with the big pay. Don't know for sure, but we'll find out. When you have a defense that good, you expect a lot of coaches to go from that defense, and they have. So we'll see how that goes. Now, for Green Bay, all right, we all know that they hired Jonathan Gannon, the fired head coach from Arizona, which to me is a good hire for the Packers. I hate to say that with a passion. I hate to say that because Jeff Hafley took the Dolphins head coach job, their defensive coordinator. It's going to be interesting. They have one vacant assistant position, and it's at linebackers. when Sean Dugan left for Miami staff under Halfley. That seems to be about it. It also, defensive back secondary coach Brian Downward left for the Dolphins as well, but that was filled by Bobby Babbitt. There's a name from the past, but there's no other assistant coaches listed for the Packers.
Right. So as far as the rest of the around the league, we have 3 vacancies, I believe. We got the Raiders, the Browns.
Browns filled it.
Yeah. Todd Monken, former offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, is now the head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
He was the only one to do the essay portion of the interview.
That was, I was going to talk about it. It sounds like they have a very highly detailed and strenuous hiring process, and people were just kind of backing out like, I'm not doing homework. Like, what is this? To be the Browns coach?
The job is homework. So, I mean, might as well start early.
It is homework, but nobody said there would be an essay involved.
So just ask ChatGPT to do it for you, guys. Come on, we're in 2026. Say I'm gonna just tell them, hey, I'm gonna go fill this out in the office that I will have soon. You go in there, ask a little robot to do the homework for you. Piece of cake. Get out of here.
Yeah. Cutting corners already. Yep. That sounds
but if it works, they use AI in their analytics departments.
And that's exactly how you get around that, Dave. Like, hey, I'm just thinking ahead of the game. See? If you end up with 2 wins, then hey, they can't fault you.
How would the new coach use Pro Bowler Shedeur Sanders?
Oh man. I don't.
ChatGPT would go, I can't even.
ChatGPT would tell you, listen, man, we're wasting enough water. Don't ask me those stupid questions.
So I'm sure a lot of people turned it down, but
yeah, that's how it happens. But I don't even want to pretend like I even care about the Pro Bowl. But when I heard that Shedeur Sanders is a Pro Bowl quarterback, I say, okay.
Well, it's a joke. It's become a complete joke.
No one wants it. You can't believe, Dave. There's no way they can make me believe they asked 30 other quarterbacks to go to the Pro Bowl, and Shedeur was the only one to say yes, because you have to beat everybody. Well, I'm counting backups too.
Jeez.
I wish Shedeur all the success in the flag football game.
Speaking of the flag football game, do you think foreign countries are scouting the NFL flag football game for the Olympics?
Well, I thought you were going to ask about what team they want to move to Greenland.
That would be something.
Got to start thinking early, since it's going to be a territory soon. As far as the Olympics, wait, football is a Winter Olympics?
No, it's a Summer Olympics.
Okay,
it won't be for 2 years.
Okay,
it's coming.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't even know they let NFL players do that yet.
It's flag football, though. It's not football.
Made the rules. It's only 1 or 2 players per team can do it.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Jefferson is wanting to be one of them.
Yeah, I do. We had an episode about that. I recall that. So they should be, Dave. They should start scouting. I wonder what type of
be filming it.
Speaking of Spygate,
boy, did you lose any respect for the Hall of Fame after we learned yesterday that Bill Belichick was not voted in?
I mean, how often do we see a coach get in on the first ballot?
He's the only one that's been to the Super Bowl 8 times.
Yeah, he's the coach, though.
He was a surefire Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and the coach before him was a surefire Hall of Famer too. But I mean, just because you don't get in on the first ballot doesn't mean you're less of a Hall of Fame career. But
no, it's because there was people that are pissed off at him and wanted him to pay a penance for all the scandals and all his gruff, how he treated people.
I don't have my tinfoil hat here right now, but I'm with you. I'm with you. That plays into a part. As one of the things I've learned as an adult is, it ain't always about what you know. It's always it's how you work a room. It's how those connections you make. You don't want to burn any bridges. And speaking of my tinfoil hat, I kind of believe that Bill Belichick is also being shadow punished for his involvement with the Flores situation.
Possibly.
wow.
That
Possibly.
so, and then, but on a, I guess that's a micro level. But on a macro level, you do have his, I guess, feud with Robert Kraft and him working the rules, and not working the rules, but him working rooms, because he has a lot more friends in those rooms than Bill Belichick does, and Jerry Jones has a lot more friends than Kraft does, which is why Kraft hasn't been in the Hall of Fame yet. So you gotta. There's only 50 voters, right? That amount of voters, that limited amount of voters, assumes that there's going to be some collusion. For him not to be voted in, I think that's 11 people have to say no.
Yeah.
I would have to believe that
He
11
needed
people.
40 out of 50 votes.
Right. I will believe that those people would talk to. And those people all talk to each other and say, we're going to do a thing here. He'll get in eventually. When you think about it in those terms, like there may be some shenanigans involved. Yeah, it happens. That's life, to be honest with you. That's just how things go. But I had no perceived thoughts that he was going to get in on the first ballot anyway. I didn't even know that he was up until they said he wasn't getting in. Like, oh, okay. All right. We'll see you next year, Bill.
It just, on top of Shedeur Sanders going to the Pro Bowl, and this makes you wonder, are they going to fix the system? Pro Bowls are tied to contracts. Pro Bowls nowadays mean absolutely nothing. You're winning a popularity contest. And then if you choose not to play, we're going down the list to find a joke of a player. No offense to Cleveland fans, but somebody that shouldn't be there. And then when you get to the Hall of Fame, they're the ones that restricted this last year and said, we're going to let in fewer people than the truly greats. And then you take a truly great, whether it be Bill Belichick this year or, what's his name, wide receiver, took so long to get in. And there's a whole bunch of those. Terrell Owens, T.O., because he pissed off people. He pissed off the press. He pissed off a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. It's a shame, and it should be, no, that's not the way the system works. It should be clearly defined, and the NFL is the only league that does not define it and say, hey, it's on-field performance, your record, your stats, all that sort of stuff. It doesn't talk about morality. And all the other leagues say, leave the morality out of it. Did the player meet the requirements to be considered a Hall of Famer?
Well,
baseball, the NFL
there's a lot to that, though.
Goes, no, we're going to use morality when we want to because we're the NFL and we don't care. Or in this case, the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, no other Hall of Fame coach has ever been seen shirtless on a porch in Boston like Bill has. So I think he should have to wait a while.
Could be. We'll find out next year. He's not obviously going to be there this year, so we'll find out next year.
Any predictions on the two vacancies we have with the Raiders and the Cardinals?
See, this year is really tough because I think we spoke about this with so many vacancies and no real hot shot name. You're going to have a lot of first time and pretty unheralded guys getting jobs nowadays because you got Cignetti. He said he's not going to do it. Marcus Freeman's not going to do it. No one's interested in Bill Belichick, not even the Hall of Fame, not even Canton. So Raiders, I was hearing that they had some interest with was it the Raiders or was it the Cardinals? Well, one of them, I think Mike McDaniel was popping up for one of those. I think it was the Cardinals. But after he finally settled down on taking the Chargers job, those two, who would have thought those two would be openings before the Browns?
Well, I think the Browns up, and they just took the first guy that said yes.
Sometimes got thirsty. It's 3 a.m. at the bar. You got to make it.
Yeah, it's exactly what.
Now, for the Cardinals, as of yesterday, I heard from Diana Rossini. She reported that they interviewed Ron Rivera.
Wow.
And I think he was in retirement.
Yeah. This is Joe Gibbs' situation.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, as you said, a lot of not a lot of hot names and a lot of new first-time head coaches. The Bills hired their former OC, Joe Brady. The Ravens, Jesse Minter, he was the defensive coordinator for the Chargers and also for the University of Michigan. And then Jeff Hafley, who's the former defensive coordinator in Green Bay. Right, let's get to the final break, and then we're going to talk about our first talk about mock drafts.
Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Never too soon to start taking a look at the future and draft picks. Let's just go around the room and you guys can throw out a couple of names if you want to, because obviously there's going to be a variety of different options depending on what needs you want to address. But first and foremost, say when you'll be drafting as far as the number, and then a player or two that you've been linked to. We can start with Dave.
All right. The Minnesota Vikings are drafting 18th. We're the best of the worst teams. The teams that did not make the playoffs. We are right behind the Detroit Lions. But now, I said in the pre-show that this was fun doing some research. I looked up or used the robot to figure out what are the top 5 players that Minnesota has been mocked to them so far this early in the preseason or off-season. We have the Senior Bowl taking place right now, which Tyler Forness is at, and he's doing player interviews and such. We have the Shrine Bowl just completed itself. But who are the 5 that have been most mocked? Mansour Delane, or Delaney, however it's pronounced, has appeared the most at number 18. He's cornerback out of LSU. And if you want to, we've already done a Skull Search show on him to include audio, if you just want to listen to what Tyler says about him, or a video. There's also Avion Terrell, cornerback Clemson, who we've talked about. Brandon Cece, cornerback South Carolina. You think there's a pattern here that mockers have going to the Vikings? Jeremiah Love, if he falls to 18, running back Notre Dame. And, of course, there's questions if that's the case. And Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon. Now, for that to happen, that would be highly interesting. We'd probably have to let go a certain tight end, which I wouldn't want to do. I don't know about drafting a tight end. They usually take years to develop. Who knows? But those are the 5 most for the Minnesota Vikings.
Everybody in Atlanta heard you say that about a tight end, and they agree.
Progressive is definitely a stair step for him.
Green Bay, if you want to go Packers, they have top 1 is Lee Hunter, defensive tackle out of Texas Tech. Then Will Lee, cornerback Texas A&M. Dominique Orange, defensive tackle Iowa State. Zion Young, edge, defensive end type out of Missouri. And Julian Neal, cornerback, Arkansas. So everybody's figuring they'll go defense.
Okay, what you got?
Bears haven't drafted this late in the first round. It was for a while. The Bears have the number 25 pick. They own all their first 3 picks in this draft. I think the Bears actually own all their picks this draft. I know we're owed a pick by the Rams in the 4th round. But just speaking about the first round, as of right now, we've a lot of guys are slated to be in the back half of that round are right up what the Bears are looking for. The Bears have a lot of expiring contracts on the defensive side of the ball, and you got guys like Keldick Falk, who's an edge out of Auburn, around that side. Denzel Boston, he's a wide receiver. Don't need another one of those. Ryan Poles. We do not need any more high-priced receivers. You heard me. Don't you do it. Lee Hunter, defensive tackle, maybe a 3 technique out of Texas Tech. The Bears, the experiment with Javon Dexter, I'm gonna call it. I don't think it's gonna work out. He hasn't really hit his stride yet as a 3 technique, and he's coming up on his 4th season. If he ain't there now, then you probably should start thinking about replacing him. That's just that's how you do things in the league. I'm not saying I'm not hating. I'm just saying, we struggled in getting to the quarterback and we struggled in stopping the run. A lot of that comes right up the middle. Got to figure some things out. And Billingsley, I don't know what they told him at his exit interview, but I hope they gave him a diet plan because he was not getting off the block. He was struggling to get off the block. I like him when he's on. He's great. We got to get better. And this guy Lee Hunter from Texas Tech, their defense was pretty formidable this season. He's slated to be around the back end of the first round as well. You got Avion Terrell out of Clemson as a cornerback. You got Dylan Diamond. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Safety from Oregon. The Bears, both starting safeties are on expiring contracts. Having a debate every day about, are we bringing Jaquan Brisker back? What about Kevin Byard? He's a leader in the locker room. 33. I don't know what you want to do with there. So a lot of questions. DJ Gardner-Johnson, sign him in the midseason. He plays safety. Do you bring him back? Never know. DJ Allen, my co-host, Q, he says the number one position group that needs to be upgraded this offseason is the linebackers. And C.J. Allen is a linebacker from Georgia. You love Georgia Bulldogs, offense and defense. Should be on everybody's draft board over there at Hallis Hall. But here's the guy that I'm looking at right now. It's Caleb. I love having Caleb's on my squads. Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle from Utah. He's a left tackle, and he's got a lot of good grades coming out of him. I don't know what's going to happen when we get into the draft process and get into the combine, if his name starts to rise up. But Caleb Lomu, the left tackle, listen, the Bears thought they had solved their left tackle crisis when they slotted Ozzie Trapillo into that spot, who was a right tackle by trade, and he played well. Then he had a patella tendon injury in that last Packer game, and that's pretty much going to knock him out for 365 days. And for a guy his size, you don't know how that's going to affect him for the rest of his career. It's a tough break, kid. But if that guy, if one of the better left tackles are sitting right there in front of you at the back of the first round, it's hard not to say, hey, that's the guy we got to pull the trigger on. And we got to figure some other things out on the other side of the ball later on in the draft. It's a lot of things the Bears could do. But from what I just read, a lot of the prospects that are slated at the back of that draft fit right into where the Bears need to some holes the Bears need to fill for this upcoming season.
All right. And we got 3 different guys that I've been seeing mocked to the Detroit Lions. Of course, the offensive line is a high priority. So Mel Kiper has, I'm going to butcher his name. I think his name is Ola Vavega Ion. He is a
Good
guard.
job. Right.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Okay. And he's a guard out of Penn State. And he's known, most notably known for his block sustainability. He has not allowed a sack since 2023. He's a first-team All-American and a 2-time Big Ten selection in 24 and 25. The interior is something that is definitely high priority. And in the event that we went and got a guard in the first round, you move Tate Ratledge to the center position. You let Mahogany rock one side, and then you bring in Mr. Ione on the other side of that. And
Heard of Brandon Thorne?
I have not heard of him. Where is he from?
Brandon Thorne does a podcast, offensive line.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he has Vega as his number 2 guard overall. So that'd be a good choice.
Brandon Thorne. Yeah, I'm going to look him up to get that information on the big round belly. He specializes in that specifically?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the second guy is a tackle out of Miami. His name is Francis Maigua. And he would be the Decker predecessor. He's the second highest rated tackle. And he's both effective in the pass and run block game. And once again, addressing that offensive line, Taylor Decker may or may not retire. Frank Ragnow's situation kind of burned us last year. So it would be beneficial for us to be proactive this time around in preparation for that. So that's why he was mocked to the Detroit Lions at 19. And that was by PFF. The last one was done by the NFLmocks.com, and it would not be a mock draft without an edge rusher to be the opposite side of Hutch, and that is T.J. Parker out of he had 16 sacks in the last 2 seasons and 29 tackles for loss. He's a larger edge rusher, which is what Dan Campbell prefers. And he's, big enough and strong enough to hold his own in the run game as well. He's 6'3", 260 pounds. So those are the 3 guys that I have seen. I've also seen I believe he's a tackle out of Alabama, Proctor. And that's somebody that I'm seeing a lot of mock drafts as well. So, of course, we will have a lot of time over the next 2 months to further kind of dig in on the mock drafts, but that is a early look at it. So, Dave, as you said earlier, you got boots on the ground down at the Senior Bowl. What do you guys have planned in the future for the Vikings First and Skol fan?
I'm working on another Skol Search episode where we're looking at first batch of wide receivers, and it'll be mid-first rounders type, not the very top, but the next level. We also have Tyler's going to get with me sometime. We're going to have some show tomorrow night. Question of time and availability because they moved the practices to later in the afternoon, so we're not sure how that's going to go. We'll have something there. And we'll have 2 bloggers on Sunday, as usual. So we'll have stuff coming out. Just keep your notifications turned on Vikings First and Skol, and you'll have all sorts of content.
All right. And Pay, what you got going on?
We are getting ready to tackle this NBA trade deadline. The guys from my boys Rick and Zeke, they got a lot of content coming up surrounding that, as well as Q is going to start breaking down the Senior Bowl when that's going. Other than that, just be prepared. You definitely want to hit that notification bell when Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel drops anything, because none of it's a waste of time. Baseball season is around the corner. Pitchers and Catchers is going to report in just a couple of weeks. Are the Sox going to be better this year? Banking going not. But the Cubs.
Where do they do spring training? Out west or Florida?
Who, the Sox? The Sox are... Yeah, they're a Cactus League team.
They're both in
Arizona.
Yeah, they're both out there. I went to their game last February. Fun. Very fun. Overpriced for a spring training game, but I enjoyed it. Bucket list. But yeah, the Cubs, on the other hand, they're ranked as the second best team in all of baseball. Their over-unders right now, not on the sports books, but some of the baseball publications have the Cubs at 99 wins projected. It's going to be a fun year. You want to check those videos coming out very soon. Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop.
And over on the Bleachers to Speakers, I feel like I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, but we still plan on doing a show grading the last 5 draft draft classes. So be on the lookout for that. We will also be a part of the NBA draft. I mean, not NBA draft. The NBA trade deadline festivities. I'm hoping the Pistons are involved in some way, shape, or form. We will be also hosting the Central Division show this upcoming Monday. And me and Coach have a show on Sunday. Our first our spring training episode will be coming out on Sunday. So stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming up. And what does they say in Chicago, Pay?
Bear down.
Dave, Minnesota?
We say Skull Viking.
And in Detroit, we say
One Pride.
thanks for joining us.
Stay up.